My friends, we are going to grow and get better together. This is not about me. This is about us. Welcome to Win Today with Johnny Martin. My friends, I cannot even tell you how excited I am to be doing this right now. The very first, the inaugural episode of Win Today with Johnny Martin. It has been a long time coming, and throughout this episode and episodes that follow, my hope and prayer is that I can let people into my life in a way that resonates with their own. And I would be remiss if we didn't start today by talking about a couple people that I'm joined with. My good friend, Donnie Kavanaugh.
What's up?
What's up, Donnie? Seven Roads Media in the house. And my friend Dylan Pilon of Cloud9 Marketing Group. So happy to have you guys here.
Happy to be here.
So, as we get going in this thing today, guys, and in episodes to follow, there are so many things that I want to share with you, both on my own and through guests. But I think what's most important for us to talk about today, and what I'd really like to share with you today, is the why. Why am I spending a good part? Why are we spending a good part of our day off, if you will? And in our lives, there are none.
What are those?
Yeah, exactly. We've decided our path doesn't allow us too many of those days off. But I really want to talk to you about the why, and in the hopes, my hope is, in talking to you guys about the why, that in some way you can tap into your why as well. And so as we get into it, I really, really want you to think about how you're living your own life. And what are some things that maybe you could take away from what we share together, or things that you've been thinking about every day that may create a spark for you, that may get you excited about taking on your life in a different way. We got two choices when we wake up in the morning. And the first is to say thank you, because we're given an opportunity to have another day. And then the second is for you to decide what you're going to do with that day. So the why for me, I think, has been sort of festering over the last 20 years. Donnie's sitting in the room with us today, and Donnie and I have been friends for even longer than that. And Dylan, through his work with Cloud9 Marketing, this is what he does, right? He helps people connect their passion with purpose to reach as large an audience as possible. That's what he loves to do, and that's what he's really good at. But I remember having conversations with these guys, Donnie specifically, for years. I've had a chance to speak across the country to teams, to corporations, to individuals about leadership, about growth mindset, and about winning today. And I've had opportunities like this presented to me in years past, and I've always been afraid. And I'm the guy that walks in a room and presents like I'm 10 feet tall and bulletproof. But one of the things I want to share with everybody as we go on this journey together is that we all have insecurities on top of insecurities. And it took me a long time to realize that those insecurities were standing in the way of me maximizing my best self. So yeah, I've spent a career trying to help kids. I've spent 20 years speaking across the country, but I was always afraid to completely pull the trigger, to take that leap of faith and put it out there. And so in the eyes of everybody else, and this may resonate with some of you that are listening, but in the eyes of people that were watching, I was really, really good at my job. And my marriage was perfect. And I was raising my kids like the father of the year. And the reality of the situation is that was all bullshit. I wasn't doing any of those things in a way that represented my best self. As you listen to this right now, it may sit with some of you very clearly, is that we get up every day, we rise, and then we fall into what becomes our new normal. I've got to get up every day, I make my coffee, I've got to go to work, and then I come home and I'm exhausted, so I can't be the best father or wife, or father or mother or husband or wife I can be. I can't be the best brother I can be. I can't be the best boyfriend or girlfriend I can be, because we fall into life. We're defined by those moments throughout our day that we just get used to doing. And that's what happened to me. And so I spent a large part of the majority of my adult life so far kind of faking it and not being as authentic consistently as I know I want to be. And So the reason for this, the reason that I share this with you is because I know in my heart, in the work I've done with kids, families, corporations, athletes across the country, I know that so many people feel the same way. They feel like they get up and they exist. And I'm tired of just existing. I no longer want to just exist. I want to get up every day and find a way to kick the shit out of this beautiful thing that we have called life. And this is one of the mediums that I'm choosing to share that journey with all of you. I'm not doing any of this because I personally want to gain from it. If that's what comes with this, then I'm going to embrace that blessing as well. But I want people to be able to listen to this and say, you know what? That strikes a chord with me. That resonates with me. That's my life today. My life today is exactly what I promised myself 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Or if you're the kid listening right now and you're having those struggles, I promised myself this is what it would not be. Here's the good news in all that. All you have to do is decide that you want to do things better. And it can't be a one-day thing, a 1 month thing, a 1 year thing. It's a 1 minute at a time thing. It's a 1 hour at a time thing. And before you know it, let's fast forward. Several months ago, I sat down with Donnie and Dylan and I said, fellas, I'm sick and tired of this shit. Well, what do you mean, John? Donnie, I'm sick and tired of everybody telling me that, man, why don't you do this? Just jump off the damn ledge and do it. Why are you not taking advantage of the gifts that you have and the practice that you have and the experience that you have over 20 years? Why aren't you just taking a shot and doing it? So this is my way of telling everybody, but more importantly, reinforcing for myself that I'm doing it. And you know what? I may have one person follow, I may have 100 people follow, and I may have 1 million people follow. But at the end of the day, I don't care about that either, because the 100 or 1 million that follow, they're going to get something from this. Their lives are going to be improved because of this. Our lives are going to be improved because of this together. So I'm doing it whether one person listens, fellas. I'm doing it whether 100 listen, or I'm doing it whether 1 million listen. I'm doing it. And so I wanted to start off this episode by sharing that with you. Over the last couple of years of my life, I've grown more than I've ever grown before, as a man, as a professional, as a husband, as a father, as a brother, and as a son. And I want to share with you over the weeks, months, and years to come why I think that's happened. Because we try to complicate our lives. And we try to wait for stuff to happen. We think it's just going to fall in our lap. And we get bogged down with stuff we have no control over. In my life over the last 20 years as a counselor, speaker, and a coach, I've learned some lessons that have really helped me simplify my life over the last couple of years. And I just really want to share those. I think the greatest gift we can give to another human being is our time, because we exchange a part of our life for it. It's a part of our life we never get back. So I want to share my time and my life and my experiences with you in the hopes that we can all grow together. About 2 years ago, I walked into a gym that a friend of mine owned. I was down in Florida, and about 2.5 years ago, and I had gotten lazy, gotten complacent. And for me, fitness and training and health were always a huge part of my life. I fell off because I became complacent in my marriage. I became complacent as a father, complacent as a son and as a brother, and I fell off. And we were all, a bunch of buddies and I, we were all hanging out together down in Florida, and my buddy says, hey, we're going to go to my gym, we're going to get a workout in. And I walked into that gym where in years past I would have embraced the chance to train in one of the most badass facilities anybody could ever see on this planet, where people walk through those doors and the only requisite is that you are committing to get better, whether you're here for a half hour or an hour. And I walked in there with flip-flops on, a bathing suit, and a t-shirt. And my buddy said to me, what's up, you're not training? I said, no, man, I'm not training. I'm just enjoying hanging out with you guys. I'm going to sit back and watch. And I know it may seem like a little thing, but for those of you that are listening, my fear and my insecurity was standing in my way. It was, I can't train with these dudes. I'm way out of my league. I've fallen out of shape. I'm not comfortable. But I'm the guy that can walk into a room and feel like I'm 10 feet tall and bulletproof. And I watched my buddy and our friends train. And in that moment, I realized I missed an opportunity, not just to move weight. That's insignificant. The bigger message was I lost an opportunity to get better because I was standing in my own way. And the short version, folks, is I'm sick and tired of standing in my own way. I want every day when I get up to embrace the gifts that we are provided simply by the fact that we're able to take another breath. And I don't want to squander them anymore. And I want to empower people that are listening to this to understand that I'm not any different than any one of you that are paying attention right now. I don't have anything different than you have. No one's writing this for me. No one's jotting this stuff down for me. I decided, you know what? I want to share my life, my insecurities, my hangups, my triumphs. I want to share it with other people in the hopes that they can grow and get better. The name of the show is Win Today, because that's truly how I want you all to think about living your lives. It's how I've tried to live my life. And I'll tell you what, I've never felt better because of it. So Win Today isn't just a fancy slogan or a hashtag. It's how I would encourage all of you to try to live your lives. 1 hour at a time, one good day at a time. And the beauty of it is if God gives you another one, you can wake up tomorrow and do it again. I just don't want to be stuck with this feeling because I'm afraid of what others will think. And all of you know what I'm talking about. Well, I really want to do this, but I know I have the ability to do this, but I think I could be really, really good at this, but. So along this journey, I've learned that anything after but is bullshit. And you are the one standing in the way of that but or because. And I don't want to sit with that feeling anymore, that I'm so worried about what other people think. People are going to listen to this and they're going to form their opinions any way they're going to form their opinions. And I'm okay with that today. I'm in a place and a space today where I'm good with that. But I feel like we all have these unbelievable talents, strengths, and gifts, and we never maximize them. We don't fully maximize these talents, these strengths, and these gifts because we are afraid. We're afraid of what other people will think. We're afraid that we're going to fail. We're afraid that it's not going to go well. And I've gotten to a place in my life where this is no longer something that I think about in passing. This is something that I think about every single day when I wake up in the morning, and it's what I think about when I go to bed at night. This is no longer something that is cool for me. This is now my purpose. And my purpose for so long has been to try to help other people. That's what I do professionally. That's what I'm paid to do. Help others improve their lives. Well, this is an extension of that purpose for me. Because I really believe that all of us can do better. I believe we all can do a better job of helping ourselves and creating our own journey and helping other people in the process. I don't want my reach to be limited. I don't want it to be too small. We aim too small. I've aimed too small my whole life. Maybe this resonates with some of you that are listening. I don't know about you two guys, but I've aimed too small my whole life. I think Dylan is probably in a different category because he figured it out long before Donnie, you and I did. Dylan was a young guy when he had the guts enough to take a leap of faith and say, this is what I'm in love with doing. But you and I, Donnie, we kind of tapped into that a little bit later on in the way of how we're extending that passion and purpose beyond our full-time jobs, if you will.
You could say that. A little late?
Yeah.
A little late to the party?
Yeah, late to the party, but happy to be at the party nonetheless, right?
Absolutely.
So for me, what I really want to share with you all as we go along this journey together is that we got to stop thinking so small. Man, I restricted myself for so long because I got comfortable. Man, everybody told me I was really, really good at my job from 7 o'clock in the morning till 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And I believe that I am pretty good at it, but I want to get better at it every day. And then I started talking to people from all across the country when I had a chance to go out and speak. And man, there are some people out there that none of us have ever heard of, but their stories will just move you. to want to get up and do something different. But here's the difference. My takeaway from them was it was a level of excitement that lasted, and you guys know how this goes. You get real fired up for a day or a week, and you put all this stuff together and you scramble and you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this. And then life gets in the way. And I don't know how you guys feel about this, but my feeling on that is we've allowed life to get in the way of us living our life. And so I'm tired of it. And so I came to these guys a few months ago and I said, no more, fellas. I need your help. I need your support. And you talk about the human condition, people, the human spirit. These are two guys that run a business. It's not a charity, it's a business. And when I told them what I wanted to do, they never said a word to me about cost. They never said a word to me about what I owe them in the long run, although I'm sure it's coming.
For sure.
But what they did say to me was, hell yeah, we're in. Because we see in you what we think other people have seen in you, and let's cut the handcuffs off. Let's hit the gas and let's see what happens. And so that's what I hope to bring to this and bring to you folks. One of the things that really sticks with me, and I want to talk to you about this a little bit today, is this notion of, and I don't know if you guys have ever thought of this before, but why do we get out of bed in the morning? And does anybody care? Does your wake up, Donnie, Dylan, does your wake up, does it matter to you? Or is it going to be the same thing that you did yesterday, that you did the day before? And when I read that, man, it hit me like a truck. So I guess to pull this all together, that's why I'm doing this. So that every person that listens out there, or every person that has a chance to share this with somebody else, you can start to define your wake up. You can start to define your purpose. You can start to write your own story. This notion that, hell yeah, I can be more. I can do better. I'm the author of my own story. And my story is going to be completely different than yours for a lot of you that are listening. I want the book of my story to be filled with pages of how I did everything I could to improve the lives of other people. That's my purpose. But that might not be yours. Your story may be written, the pages of that story may be written about how much money you're trying to chase, how many countries you want to visit, how your faith and spirituality are at the center of your life and you want to do a better job with that. But that's why I think what I have to share with you people, what I hope you tune into, what I hope you tell your friends to tune into, I think that's why it can sit with every single person that I may be privileged enough to talk to. There's nothing at all restrictive about what I'm trying to share with you. It fits into every life, every age, every person, that we can be more, we can do better, we can write our own story. And we can do it 1 minute, 1 hour, one great day at a time. I am so excited to tell you folks, man, and Donnie and Dylan, we've been talking about this. Our guests, man, they are going to be as varied as their careers and their journeys. And I'm telling you guys, we're going to have people from every walk of life you can imagine, with the message being the same. And that's why I can't wait for people to tune in. With the message is going to be, wow, if they can do it, if they can create their why, if they can create their purpose, if they can work on winning their day, how can I take those qualities? How can I take a message that I just got from them, and how can I make that part of my life so I can write my story, so I can fill the pages of my book with the shit that matters the most to me? And at the end of the day, that's a life well lived. Am I being good to those that I love? Am I showing them that I love them every day of the week? But am I filling those pages with a book that, man, I'm going to be so proud to have authored? Or is that book going to look like what we were all forced to read as kids, where we didn't pay attention to much of it because it was thrown in front of us and we had to read it? Because that's what happens to a lot of us in life. The pages are our days, our minutes, our seconds. Those are our pages. And sometimes we just get used to living them the way we've been living them. And so that book just gets thrown in front of us tomorrow, the same way it did today. And we just live that way because that's what we think the shitty book is that we have to read. We got to have that mindset changed, folks. That mindset has to change. You get to write the book. You get to be the author of that story. You get to write it 1 second, 1 minute, 1 hour, and 1 day at a time. It's not anybody else's responsibility. It's ours. It's yours. And so I hope our guests inspire you every single time they're on to think about that. And they're coming from everywhere. They are coming from everywhere. Make no mistake about it. I'm bringing people from everywhere. Sports, entertainment, music, education, politics, although I'm not a huge fan. But they're coming from everywhere. And the goal for me will never change. Can I use the influence I'm trying to create and also use the influence that these folks have already to inspire you to be more, to do more, and to win today? And I cannot wait for you guys to join me on this ride. We are very, very fortunate to have some great people supporting us, starting with Seven Roads Media, Cloud9 Marketing Group. This episode, so proud to say, is sponsored by my good friends at Team Strength 261. You can find them at Team Strength 261 on Facebook, on Instagram, and on Twitter. And every time I do an episode, guys, I'm going to try to leave you with something to think about. People say to me all the time when we have these types of discussions, people say to me all the time, where should I start, right? You talk to college students all the time about, that are getting into marketing. And I know the question you get all the time is, where should I start? So I want to try to leave you all with something every week that will give you an idea of at least a place to start. Because I think framing where you're at right now is the best way to sort of help you move forward. We don't know where we're headed unless we know where we're at. So for those of you that have never read it, I'm going to give you a real simple one right now. There's a book out there. It was published in 1997, okay? But it's called The Four Agreements. And it's by Don Miguel Ruiz. It was on the national bestsellers list for like 8 years in a row. It has withstood the test of time. All right? And without getting into too much history, the book draws on traditions of the Toltecs, which are an ancient indigenous people of Mexico. But basically what they say is we have all been domesticated from childhood, and then we've lived with this set of guiding rules, and we can't break them, we can't replace them, and so then we get stuck in Groundhog Day, like I just spent the last 20, 30 minutes talking to you guys about. Well, the book, The Four Agreements, says that a lot of those guiding principles hurt us because it's really, really difficult to break away from them. And The Four Agreements talks about just that. There are four. I just want you to think about this as a way to sort of end today. But there are four, and they're very simple. Be impeccable with your word. At the end of the day, your word is your bond. Be impeccable with your word. That's number one. The second one is don't take anything personally. Now, that's tough. That's tough because we're emotional people. Human beings are emotional. This book is going to show you how to shift your mindset from taking almost everything personally, because that stands in the way of you being able to grow. Don't take anything personally. So be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions. Don't make assumptions about people, about places, or about things. What that helps you do is open your mind to the possibilities, that there are endless possibilities for your life, your relationships, your work, everything that you do. And the last one is always do your best. Whatever you decide to take on, do it to the absolute best of your ability. So I hope that you were at least a little bit intrigued by what's to come. Moreover, I hope you were inspired to not just listen again, That's not my hope and prayer. Not just that you listen again, but that you take something, just a little piece maybe, from what you heard today to start writing your own story. For my good friends at Seven Roads Media, Cloud9 Marketing Group, this has been your boy, Johnny Martin, wishing you all the best. Be good to those you love. Let them know you love them, and do everything you can to win today. Thanks so much. Thank you to Seven Roads Media and Cloud9 Marketing Group for co-producing the show. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe on whatever platform you're on. Without you, I cannot continue to do what I love. You can follow me personally on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at RealJohnCMartin. I'd love to hear from you, so please reach out with comments and questions after each episode. Your comments push me to get better every day. As always, thank you for your continued support, and don't forget, win today.